We are here because there is a conference call that's going to be addressed by Mr. Anil Ambani, chairman of the Reliance Group. I assume he's going to speak about Reliance Capital.
Of our young and dynamic group. It is heartening for me personally that over the past 12 months, our strong retail shareholding base across all our companies remains uneroded and consistent, cementing my belief of their strong support and good wishes for the Reliance Group. The Reliance Group has made aggregate debt servicing payments of over rupees 35,000 crores in the past 14-month period from April 1, 2018 till May 31, 2019. I'd like to repeat, the Reliance Group has made aggregate debt servicing payments of over rupees 35,000 crores in the 14-month period from April 1, 2018 till May 31, 2019. These comprise principal repayments of a staggering 25,000 crores and interest payments of nearly 11,000 crores. This amount includes debt servicing payments by Reliance Capital Group, Reliance Power Group, and the Reliance Infra Group and their respective affiliates. These payments have been made in the face of insurmountable odds and the most challenging financial environment witnessed in the country in decades.
Has left the conference.
During this entire period, lenders from all categories, whether banks, mutual funds, insurance companies, provident funds, or NBFCs, have provided zero net additional
Has left the
liquidity
conference.
or debt to any entity of the Reliance Group. I'd like to repeat that during this 14-month period, lenders from all categories, whether banks, mutual funds, insurance companies, provident funds, or NBFCs, have provided zero net additional liquidity or
Has
debt
left the
to
conference.
any entity of the
Thomas
Reliance
Mukherjee, Reuters.
Has left the conference.
To compound matters, the regulatory bodies and courts have not passed any final adjudication orders on claims aggregating to over rupees 30,000 crores that are due for more than 5 to 10 years to our various group companies, especially Reliance Infrastructure, Reliance Power, and their affiliates. These amounts, staggering to over 30,000 crores of various claims, have been inordinately delayed and repeatedly delayed for one reason or the other. The debt servicing payments of the aforesaid staggering amount of over rupees 35,000 crores have necessarily to be made almost entirely from asset monetization, despite a liquidity-starved environment and operational cash flows in an operating environment beset by procedural and regulatory hurdles. Despite the continuing total apathy and lack of any support whatsoever from the financial system, which ultimately only significantly hurts the interest of lenders themselves, as well as all other stakeholders, Reliance Group has demonstrated its bona fides in no uncertain manner as stated. We at the Reliance Group are fully committed to meet all our future debt servicing obligations in a timely manner through further asset monetization plans that are already at various stages of implementation. For me, I am personally confident that with the support of all my colleagues in the Reliance Group, the journey that we have undertaken to transforming the group to be capital light, bear minimal debt, and higher return on equity will enhance the value for all our stakeholders. I once again thank you for your time, and I look forward to a personal interaction very shortly. Thank you and have a good day. Thank you so much.
That's an important set of statements coming in. This number is very important, that the group has serviced 35,000, paid 35,000 crore since April 1, 2018 by way of honouring debt service obligations, and that it remains equally committed to maintaining or repaying all the commitments, and that asset monetization is progressing apace. This is a major reassurance, of course, after many of the companies saw steep falls. Reliance Power has been falling ever since the results in the fourth quarter showed deep losses of over 3,000 crore and asset impairment charges of 4,000 crore. Separately, Reliance Capital has been bedeviled with problems in its subsidiaries, Reliance Home Finance and Reliance Commercial Finance. And there are recent, of course, research reports also indicating that perhaps subsidiaries of the Reliance Capital group were thinly capitalized, because the capital put in by Reliance Capital was bought up by the subsidiaries from each other. And therefore, Reliance Capital's own equity was lacking, but leverage has grown apace. So it's an answer to all this that it will be paid, but we really don't have much more than the old commitment that by September 30th, the pledged share commitments will be met and the shares will be depledged. Beyond that, we don't have anything concrete in terms of what are the assets getting sold, when and for how much. For that, we still await more clarity. So at the moment, I don't think any of the stocks have moved much.
Well,
If in fact, Rel Infra has moved lower.
Well, yes, actually, a lot of these stocks had recovered intraday when we got to know that there's a con call, and the street was expecting a lot more, perhaps. We have got the assurance that they have made the payment obligations of 35,000 odd crores over the last 14 months. And Mr. Anil Ambani talked about how they're confident of meeting all the payment obligations in a timely manner. But the street perhaps was expecting a bit more, because all of these group companies are coming off from the top, whether it is Reliance Capital or Reliance Power. They're seeing a bit of knock from the top. So let's see what comes out of it. As of now, these stocks have actually moved into the red as we speak. So clearly the street was expecting a bit more.
You know, there are two sets of companies that have been knocked around in the last 5 years. First 4 years, it was the infrastructure companies. As Anil Ambani said, so many of their claims are pending, 30,000 crores pending, either with DISCOMs or with the NHAI or with various state governments, claims not being paid by various authorities. So that was the infrastructure set. Power and roads, and then came the NBFCs, which had lent and which are not getting refinanced by the banks out of fear that their borrowers, the NBFCs borrowers, may not be able to repay, especially if they are real estate borrowers or if they are, loans against shares, loans given to highly leveraged groups. Now, the unfortunate part of the Anil Ambani group is that they are in both infrastructure and NBFC, you know, and therefore the pain is even more severe. We'll try and see if we can get more erudite analyst opinion on whether people are feeling any better after this reassurance. The shares are not indicating so much of investor confidence, but we'll try and touch base with some market experts to check out how they are interpreting the statement that came from the chairman of the Reliance Group.
He also talked about how there was a lack of apathy from the other financial lenders and how they have not been able to raise any fresh liquidity. He talked about how all the payment that has been made has only been made internally by asset monetization, etc. So do you think that is also another worry in terms of not getting the required liquidity from the lenders, etc.?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is how if you
It's
have
worsened
money,
the problem.
If you have money, are you going to lend that money to any of the stranded housing finance companies or stranded NBFCs or stranded infrastructure companies? I mean, the problem for bankers is not just that these are stranded and they're already exposed to them, but more importantly, their worry will be 5 years down the line after I retire, I'll be dragged to a CVC asking, why did you can't tell him in the national service I tried to unclog the liquidity problem. You have to tell him that I gave it for commercial reasons. Deven Choksi of KR Choksi has joined us on the phone line. Deven, did you hear Anil Ambani's statement? Your reaction?
Yeah, Lata, good morning. Well, I'm going through them, and probably what I find is that I think the assurance is coming from his side, so that at least I think the lenders don't take over the company through the negative sentiments, and that is what I think is good, at least at this point of time, in building the confidence. At the same time, I think the group is extending all possible actions by selling off some of the assets and realizing the money. So, which is again, I think, giving the action to the commitment that the Anil Ambani has made. So, from that perspective, yes, I think this particular exercise is more to build the confidence in the minds of the financial markets and the players. I think that is how I read this.
So this is in order to make confidence in the minds of the financial investors, etc. But do you think it is enough for the investors, because the stock have been losing steam after we saw Mr. Anil Ambani talk? Do you think that the investors are looking for a lot more assurance, or do you think they should take heart from the fact that he has come ahead and talked about how they are very committed to meet all the repayment obligations?
Are you reassured, Devin, if you were lender to any of the groups? I mean, suppose you were holding their debentures or bonds, are you feeling reassured?
Well, I think the collateral valuation has to be seen. Definitely, if I'm a lender, I think I will keep checking my collateral valuation. If the stock prices and the other collateral prices are falling down, definitely I think as a lender I will have concern. And how do I address that concern? I don't have clue at this point of time. But I guess I think the words are giving enough amount of confidence to somebody that yes, I think there is an action following those words. So obviously I think we'll have to wait and see. But yes, I think the fall in the value of the collaterals would be a concern, as I must say.
Okay. Would it have been a little better if we had got some data in terms of which assets are getting monetized and what is the likely monetization schedule? Will that have helped?
It's always desired, but I think it's equally tricky because I think when you are in talks, you are not in a position to reveal date and you are not in a position to reveal even the value. So I think yes, it is desired that I think that be given, but I guess I think that's the limitation of this kind of situation.
Okay, all right. Are you moved to buying any of the stocks?
Not really, Lata.
Okay, all right. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Devin Choksi, for joining us. Yeah, so it's more a qualitative reassurance, as Devin Choksi says, that they're committed to repaying all the money. But, we will have to see the asset monetization, and that will perhaps pull up share prices much better than any words can. We'll take a break on that note. We are coming back. We will have more from the Morgan Stanley conference. As well, we will be joined by our technical experts again.